High vibrations, sweet babies. I am recording with you on a very October day. I mean, it is like the first October feeling day that we've had in my region, my area, the northeastern United States, which I have had a love-hate relationship with growing up. I think we all have beef with our hometowns when we're growing up because we feel very limited and we feel like we're confined and all we can see are the faults. But it took me a while to come around to the beauty of living in this area, the 4 seasons, the change of the seasons, the brisk, cool air, and now I think I've always loved a nice rainy, cloudy day. You know, it does get to be a lot of that over the cold months, which can bring on some feelings of seasonal affective disorder for myself and a lot of people around me. And those rainy, gloomy days can get to be one too many during that time, but over my adulthood, I've really learned to love all of the seasons. I've really learned to connect with the lessons, the essence, the everything about the seasons, and I'm very grateful, and I feel very lucky and fortunate to live in an area where I get to experience 4 seasons. Wheel of the Seasons has been coming up in a lot of readings, and I did feel called to speak on what I just said for whatever reason. So, yes, dropping into space. It is beautifully gloomy. It is gray. It is cloudy. There's a nice brisk to the air. The leaves are rustling in the wind. There are some raindrops that have been falling here and there. And the fall foliage is so vibrant right now. So many different shades and hues. It's going to get even more so over the next couple of weeks here. I'm really excited to be a part of the fall foliage before I hit the road again. I'm going on my October tour because I'm a full-time traveling model. For those of you who are new here, I'm also a mindset and life and mindset coach. And I love to come into this space and pull oracle cards, and this is really the only space that I do that. It's just an outlet for me, but I have found that people enjoy my ramblings, my musings, and that just adds to the joy of it. So, a few things I was feeling into before I sat down with my cards, because I am very much a energy reader at all times. Like, there is no on and off switch. There's no like clock in and clock out. Like, this is it. This is me. This is real. This is me. Yes. And I've been feeling, I'm so sorry. You know, your girl is a little neurospicy, so I definitely sprinkle little ramblings and ridiculousness into my readings. I am that I am, okay? So anyway, back to this energy. Which is like completely the opposite energy that I'm like showing up in at the moment. So let me like really feel into what my collective is probably experiencing, because I do feel like I am reading for other people's energy and not my own. So usually when I come on here and I am pulling oracle cards and I'm feeling into energies, a lot of times it's a combination of what I'm seeing, what I'm receiving, like seeing as far as like animal medicine, numerology, what I like witness other people doing as I'm like grabbing my morning coffee, just I like to be here. Earth is a really wild fucking place to be, truly, in all senses of the word. And it's so easy to miss it. It's so easy to miss the magic. It's so easy to get lost in the supposed to's and the shoulds of what we're supposed to do as people. But when you take all of that away for even just a second, and you're like, well, let me actually just be here now. Let me just be a human being instead of a human doing. Oh, yes. And I feel into that. And I'll often refer to my own experiences that I'm going through because they're usually in correlation, and my own experiences act as a guide and a teacher for me and for others. You know, I have walked a path of intention and of divine guidance for quite some time now, and I feel like it is not only an honor and a privilege, but it's also a duty for me to recognize that there are people around me who are a few steps behind me on their journey of doing the very same things that I'm doing. And because of that, there's things I want to share. Somebody I spoke to yesterday, we were in such a flow state. Like, literally, it was almost like I walked into a Reiki session, but I was getting tattooed. Like, literally, it was like a healing experience. And he literally told me, he's like, people come here and like they transform. I don't think I necessarily walked out of there like a completely changed person, but I did have a conversation that was like, wow. Like, that was validating to so many things I was feeling in my spirit and in my being. And one of the things that he had said was like this, we were talking about our cultures. We have different cultures, but we're both partly indigenous to different regions, and how a lot of our culture is storytelling. It is learning lessons from our ancestors so that we don't have to learn all those lessons for ourselves. And he had said something along the lines of like, if we had to, you know, make all of our own mistakes, like, it would take forever. We have to learn from the mistakes of others. That's why our cultures practice storytelling. And it was, you know, it's our evolution. You know, learn from these stories, hear these stories, and discern for yourself. What is your greatest and highest path? What did you need to learn? What wisdom did that give you so that you don't have to do those things in your own life, repeat those mistakes, ancestral patterns, so on and so forth. So let's just talk. I really feel as though I am reading an energy for people in my collective, but I'm just not experiencing the same exact thing, question mark, because I'm going through my own version of it in a more subtle way. And I think it's for me to assist and guide those of you who are going through like a serious initiation right now. Initiation has been a word that's been coming up time and time again, and I really feel as though my collective is being initiated into a version of themselves that is really going to be like, this is a long-term change. Like, this is a new, I hate to use an overplayed word, but like, you're in a new era of who you are. Like, every eclipse season, our collective learns lessons. We grow as people. You know, it's a change, it's a transformation. Last eclipse season was really powerful for identity work and being okay with who you are, accepting our flaws, realizing, what we actually believe in and what we actually feel divinely guided to. That was a really huge part of last year's eclipse. We eclipsed as people. Like there was an eclipse for our soul, for our spirit. And this season, it feels as though, not to speak ill will or negativity or anything over you, I'm not going to make you just be constantly on the wait for something bad to happen or looking around the corner like what's next. But I do think that this next year is really going to be up-leveling your whole life. Like your whole life is about to be completely upgraded. Okay, but here's the thing is that when you have more value in your life, when you feel, and I don't mean to say your life isn't valuable now, but you are going to, if you're not already, be doing a lot of self-worth work. You're going to be really connecting to the value that you have, the value of things in your life, the value of others, just value. Your life in value is going to increase. And with that, that means that there's more to lose. There's always so much to lose. Even when we have literally nothing, if we have air in our lungs, we have a lot to lose. And for some people, we are so aware of that truth. Maybe we grew up where things were challenging, or we had to experience a lot of loss in our early childhood development. And so for our own safety and benefit, we've protected ourselves from acquiring what we need and what we want in life, because you know what loss feels like. You know what it feels like to have nothing. So you're like, let me just not get anything because I don't want to fucking lose it. It's like this weird paradox, this like self-protecting thing that really just keeps you without all of the blessings and abundance that you so deserve. And that's the work that I see the collective really working on through the next few months, and what intentions you set. And okay, so this feels a little 11-11-y. Like you're starting to realize where you need to work your magic, where you need to ask the magician energy that's going to come through on 11-11, right? We have this old tale of making a wish on 11-11, right? That is the magician tarot card energy that is coming through with and I'll speak to all of this in another reading. We won't go down this rabbit hole right now. But it is there to be like, okay, and so it is. And so it is. That is also something that was coming through. Okay, so let me not get too derailed. I'm trying to keep my thoughts in order here, but I was getting a lot of different downloads. So you have been protecting yourself by not acquiring value, not acquiring things that mean something to you, etc. Whatever your reason is, to each their own. Maybe it's things you learned, maybe it's programming, maybe it's your experiences that shaped you this way, but it is something that you on a subconscious level may have been doing to just keep from experiencing loss. And you're going to have to accept, if you have not already, through this eclipse season, and I'm sure that you have, because eclipse season was here to say, this is not deserving or worthy of space in your life anymore, or this is something that is worthy and beautiful in your life, but nothing is permanent, and we have to let things go. We have to, in order to have the balance of life restored. When I tell you that I am letting things go, like stuff, physical wise, clutter, that I like didn't even register was there, or like clutter, and I carted that shit from move to move, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? I don't even need this. I literally don't know what this is. I don't want this. And yet I had hung on to these things thinking these are my belongings and I need all of them and they have to go into my storage and my stuff and my... No, it's like, it's just meaningless. And you're realizing now what things you may have been clinging on to and attaching onto that is just taking up space in your life, and that you actually want to have much more valuable things in your experience. And you might be feeling called to declutter or clear out and clean out at this time. I think that would be a really powerful practice, especially we just walked through the full moon last night. I just put out that reading yesterday. Was that yesterday? 2 days ago? I don't know. But I put out the full moon reading, very timely. I'm proud of myself for that. And we're still probably as a collective feeling its lingering effects, okay? And the full moon shows up in a couple different ways depending on its influence, but this with the Aries full moon, it was like, get rid of it, not into it. We had the Hunter full moon, okay, in Aries, and it was like, you're not meant to feel like this. You're not meant to be walked over. You're not meant to play small. And there was this girl who, when I was driving to get my groceries earlier, she had her windows down and she had fucking rock and roll blaring out of her windows, and she was living, honey. She was like dancing, fuck you, I won't do what you told me. And I'm just like, yes. Like, I don't know what they went through for their full moon, but she woke up today, because it was early, initiated, honey. Initiated. And I was like, ooh. Not necessarily reading into their energy or anything, but I was like, this is aligned with what I am feeling. Like, there is a collective of people who walked through that full moon after the eclipse season they just had, and they were like, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. I am doing things in my way. I am blaring my music. I am waking up at the ass crack of dawn and listening to heavy metal. And it's just like, yes. You were initiated to evolve into something powerful. And however that needs to show up for you, do it. If you need to headbang and get rowdy and like release some pent up energy, do that. If you need to scream into a pillow, like, do that. If you need to purge your belongings that you were like, where did this even come from? Do that. And you might feel particularly called to release under this full moon in specific ways. And I want you to really trust in your inner guidance system with that. If you haven't done this already, you still have some opportunities to do that in the next couple of days. Okay? Nobody's telling you have to do it right under the full moon. Is it powerful? Yes, of course. You're working on divine timing, and the moon was at its peak fullness and the energies were all like doing a fucking, break dance or something, and you're like, let me get in the mix. But now you are just as powerful. You're always as powerful, right? Because here's the thing. I love seeing how all the downloads that I was feeling into just sort of become one big thought as I use my throat space, as I give I turn thought into form, creating sound waves, and it takes shape in this audio. And like, what? Hold on. Trippy. Okay. You were initiated to step into a much fuller version of self. And this fuller version of self knows what they are worth, knows what they deserve, and is ready to call in more things that are true to that in all the ways, however this shows up for you. I really didn't do many, like, I didn't listen to any other readings. I didn't like listen to other people's like predictions about this full moon or even the past couple energies. This has been like off the dome. Your girl's just been feeling the feelings. Okay, I did hear though somebody say that this is a really powerful full moon for the 10th house. Okay, I'm sorry, the first house. Not the 10th house. Totally just gave you the wrong information. First house. Okay, it's a lot about the first house is the self. Okay, so we're going through this full moon that's illuminating something that needs to be released for the self, because you are feeling this initiation. And even if you don't like have too much you need to release and let go, you feel this initiation of like something needs to change. I need to be this person because such and such. So what does that actually mean? You, like I said, are going to have an increase in personal value. And I say personal because it's like whatever that means to you. For me, I went through this last year where I was like, what the fuck do I actually bring to the table at this current state in my life? Because I feel like I just lost everything. Like, truly, who am I? What am I doing? What do I have to offer? Like, I went through all of that. Ooh, it was messy and it was juicy and it was deliciously horrifying. Okay, I don't know. It was like so October. It was so October. I'm caffeinated, friends. Anyway, so yes, I don't know. It's just like this. A lot of energy is just wanting to be released. So maybe you're doing like body type of releasing, where it's like workouts. You're like going for a jog if you're one of those kinds of people. More power to you, but I just don't get it. Maybe, ooh, yes. You have to use your body to release some of these things. Aries is all about action, taking action, grabbing the bull by the horns. Don't be afraid to put your body into the mix when it comes to the things that you might be feeling emotionally or spiritually. 12:12 on the time or on the clock at the moment. Yes, you are expanding. Your body might need to change in a sense in order to fit what it is that you're being initiated into. There's just like a lot of energy here around being thrust into a version of self that you've always needed, that you've always wanted to be, and also sometimes that scared you. But you see how important it is, and it's time to act now. That's what Aries initiation was saying, is it's time to act now for yourself, for your best interest. Where do you need to be selfish? What do you need to be doing in order to really be the version of yourself who can do the things that you're about to do? We're about to go through a 1010 portal. I already did some reading on this, and I'm really excited to do this 1010 portal. My ritual is going to be tomorrow, and this is like no more. What is not coming with you in this next version of self, okay? Because, like I said, not speaking ill will, not to put fear over you, but loss, I'm just going to say it this way. Loss is not going to become any easier. And you are guaranteed to lose more in your life. We have learned and accepted and surrendered to the idea that loss is a part of life. It won't get any easier. The ways that you're going to experience loss moving forward, because you are putting more value on the people around you, on the things that you have and attained, of yourself and the qualities that you bring into your life. Like, you're going to have so much value in all of these areas that when it is time for the contract to be complete, right, and that time with that thing, that experience, that dynamic is expired, loss won't be any easier. You might handle it better. You might go through grief in a more graceful way. Maybe. I can't tell you that. But I will say that it won't get any easier. It is always going to be painful. But that does not mean, and what you're learning now is that you have to keep yourself from things, because this is actually just as painful, if not more. It is better, right? The age-old saying, it is better to have loved and lost than never have loved at all. Right? Because you're keeping yourself from feeling that connection and that love and that, beautiful, like, that's it. That's why we're here. We are relational species, right? So, like, you could be, I don't know, I was gonna say something like a duck, but then I realized that ducks mate for life. They're like, that's my fucking duck, bro. Like, it's me and her. We're ride or die. We go everywhere together. There is a couple of ducks, and I mean couple, like, they have been together for 10 years. They walk around my neighborhood, my family's neighborhood. I grew up on a lake, and they would just take a stroll. They would come up off the lake all the way up the block and just go on a walk together. And I'm like, goals. And then I was gonna say, okay, well, maybe ants, but ants are literally, like, wired to work for a colony. Like, I struggle to think of a single thing. Maybe mountain lion. Mountain lions are really the only things that are, like, not the only, but the only things that I can think of that are, like, solitary creatures. And you might have walked in that manner for a while, but you're realizing now that it is a very lonely path. You're not meant to feel alone. You're not meant to feel misunderstood. You're not meant to feel exiled. And you definitely don't need to be doing that to yourself. Put yourself in, I'm not going to say this. I did just release a connections reading. I really urge you to listen to that, because it feels like it's for the same collective of people listening here. I will say this, your connections are not always going to be so tumultuous moving forward. This version of yourself is aligning and calling in things of a different vibrational frequency. So you are not going to have super cyclical experiences in your connections and your dynamics going forward. You know, and so it is, right? Like, call that into existence. But this is going to be a very natural process. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you don't deserve to isolate yourself and to keep away from love and connection. But you also don't deserve to just put yourself around everybody or anybody, okay? It is time to have that self-worth of knowing, first of all, you have a table. You don't need to find and pull up a chair at somebody else's. You have a table, and it is full. It is plentiful. You are ready to wine and dine your people. Okay, you've got 5-course meal, honey. And you have seats, and they might be open at the current present. Maybe you've got 1 or 2 filled, and you know, ooh, cute, intimate little vibe. But you're like, let's turn this to a party, okay? Who else do I want to have seated at my table? And it's okay to be like, that's reserved. Reserved. For who? I don't know yet, but it ain't you, baby. It is not you. You have a seat over at that table, or you go find your own table. Maybe I'll meet up with you later, see what you got. No, but in all actuality, it is time for you to have that table of your own, to put the red rope around it and say it's meant for these people and these people only. Sometimes I won't even know who they are until I'm standing in front of them and I'm like, yes, have a seat, take a load off, stay a while. You know what I mean? And that's the energy that you're going to be accepting and aligning with and allowing in your experience in this upcoming wheel of the new year. Wheel of the seasons is asking us to really reflect in this next winter about all of this. How do we want to expand? How do we want to call these things in? And now is your time to allow yourself to be in that witchy mode, feeling into your body. What do you really want? Get supernatural, and I mean supernatural, okay? Like I said before, the present moment, it is it. That's where the magic lies. In my pagan upbringing, it is very much about the natural rhythms of life, the natural world. Okay, and it is sometimes only when we get super, and I mean extremely natural, that we find the supernatural, that we find the mysticism, that we find the whimsy, that we find that little wink and whisper from the universe that says, there's more to this. So, I'm going to need you to, if you're feeling like disempowered, or you feel like this initiation process that you went through the solar eclipse and through this full moon, if you're feeling a little knocked down, if you feel like, I don't know, crown center healing work for you right now, my love, okay? But more than anything, pray, okay? If you are already knocked down, stay on your knees a minute longer and pray, okay? Because what I will tell you is you can work your magic. You can get witchy with it. You can do whatever, but the spell is you. The spell is you. It is your energy. You are the conduit, okay? When witches pray, we are not requesting, we are commanding. There's a difference. The witch understands their divine power and influence of the universal forces. People will often be disconnected from that within themselves, and they feel like they're praying and calling out in sometimes desperation, please do this for me. Please change this in my experience. Please make miracles happen, dreams come true. The witch says, I am making these changes in the life that I live. I am showing up differently. I am going to make my dreams come true. What do I need? How can I alchemize? Show me the way. I am. No more please. It is I am. You are connecting to your divine birthright to align and call in the things that feel right for you. You are tapping into an abundance an abundant lifestyle, a soft lifestyle, a flow, an ease, and you're claiming it. I am claiming this. I am stepping into my abundance. I am showing up with my crown held high. I am sitting at this table surrounded by people who are in alignment with their highest and greatest good. And so it is. Do you feel that? It is not a request, it is a command. The witch initiates. You are being initiated. Don't let your witch wound act up. Don't be freaked out by the words and the verbiage, honey. You don't feel like a witch? Okay, baby, maybe warlock. No, I'm just kidding. If you don't feel like a witch, that's fine. You don't have to be a witch, but you can definitely connect to the divine forces at play, the energies of the universe. You've seen it, you've experienced it, you are tapped in, tuned in, and turned on. You don't need me to explain it to you. That doesn't make you a witch. Okay, I respect that. But you absolutely can still work alongside the universe in a way that is no longer a request, and if you choose me, because you choose you. Because you've decided that you are it. You are that connection to source. You are source energy. You are made of the same exact things as the trees, the stars, and the whole fucking universe. So it is not a request. It is a remembrance. Okay, you can sit here and be like, oh, this woke. These people are woke, whatever. It's like, no, they remembered. It feels so October-y and witchy, and if you are here with me through this whole reading, my people, because this is giving the energy, and I have gone through this initiation in my past before, and I'm so, so happy to be the one sharing this message with you as you cross through this threshold of your power, of your birthrights, of your essence. The saying goes, you think we are the granddaughters of the witches you could not burn, but we are those witches, and we remember. It is not about anything besides you remembering what you come from, and I mean on a much larger scale than your roots, your home life, your family tree, where you come from, what you're made of, what you work in divine connection and ordinance with. So, let me see, is there anything else that I really wanted to feel into and share? Ooh. Yes, threshold. You are walking through a threshold. Ooh, I love this because my beautiful collective, you have been, there's a lot of symbolism for doors opening or seeing doors close. And I love the idea of you now being through a threshold. The door has opened. The only door that you ever needed, all these things closing, all these windows, doors, what have you opening, and at the end of the day, there was a very specific threshold, only one, that you were ever actually going to have to take and be meant to move through on your journey. And it opened before you so naturally, so available. And it is time for you to allow yourself to put one foot in front of the other through that door. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Here's another thing that wanted to come through, and I'm going to leave it with this. A while back, I'm trying not to get too emotional here because I just felt my own spirit team with me very strongly. Whew. A while back, if you've been listening now for a while, collective, thank you so much. First of all, I'll just express my gratitude and appreciation for you. We talked about where do you want to be come holiday season, November, okay, through the holidays. Where do you want to be? Not just location-wise, but mentally, physically, spiritually. Who do you want to be surrounded by? What does that look like? And I'm here to remind you, oh my God. 2 beautiful blue jays just came and landed in front of me. First of all, what I was about to say was you are surrounded in the unseen realms and you feel it. You don't need me to tell you, and you don't need anyone to try to disprove it, because you know it to be true that you are surrounded by lots of love, lots of family, lots of friends, lots of connection. Whether this is people in your physical world who are not around you, they're at a distance. And I don't mean emotionally distant. I mean like they can't be there with you physically through the holiday season, but they're showering you with love and adoration. Or these are, people who are no longer physically here in this world. They have made their mark on your life, on your holidays, on your traditions, on your spirit. You know that you have so much love surrounding you. So much. And this time, this like void space, the in-between of having to let go of so much, and maybe things that you weren't prepared for, things that you never really actually let yourself think about letting go of. It's prepared you for stepping into a new room, walking through a threshold that is filled with love and appreciation. But you realize that it's like this, you had to let go of something. It's like something was like you're holding on to a rope, to a connection. You're holding on to something in this one room, and you finally see this door opening, and you realize that you can't walk through that threshold. Like you can only reach just the door when you hold on to this rope in this room. And you've always been holding on to this rope, and it always felt really just good in your hand, or just natural, and you've always held it, and it's been there for a long time. People expected you to be there holding it, and people passed it to you and told you you need to hang on to this. And you realize that if you continue to hold on to that rope, you can't actually walk through that door. You can't walk through that threshold. You will have to let go of the rope in order to take that step, one foot in front of the other. Something here is telling me you really miss your family. You really miss your family, or the way that family used to be. And I can really relate to that. And there's something about like not wanting to let go of that, but also with this real deep understanding that it may not ever be, actually, just in truth, it won't be what it ever was before. That doesn't mean that what's to come can't be beautiful. It can't change into something fantastic, but you have to let go of the way things were, or how you used to be, or how you expected things to turn out, or what they look like. That's what this eclipse season was asking you to let go of more than anything, was to let go of things that are no longer showing up in healthy ways, or keeping you from showing up in healthy ways. I'm not saying this has to mean like let go of your family, but maybe let go of patterns, cycles, things that were routine or habitual. And you are now understanding that you have to let things go. Maybe you've always wanted to. Maybe you have literally been holding on to this rope and it burns. and you've got splinters, and it is like making impressions on your hand, and you can't even hold your hand and open it the way that you need to because you've just been white knuckling on this rope for so long. And then you pry your fingers open and you let it go. That doesn't mean that you're exiling or walking away from anyone. It means that you are walking towards something new. You have to go through this threshold, this initiation process for you to evolve into who you are truly meant to be, so that when real big changes and real loss is assured to come, that you're the person that you need, that you will be that person who can handle it and show up for yourself and for others. You need to provide that table for yourself so that you're never worried about what you have in front of you, what your resources are, what you'll be able to offer. You know, it's no longer time for you to be thinking about those things or worried about those things. That is what you are going to experience moving forward. And for now, friends, yeah, I just want to leave it with that. Really consider I feel this reading leaving me, but make sure you're not holding on to things for the sake of others. For the sake of trying to cling to how things were or the way things were because that was familiar and safe, or it felt joyful at one time. It's time to walk through the threshold. It's time to accept your initiation. It's time for you to work your magic, right? Okay, and so it is. I feel like the underlying message for this whole reading was for me to assure you that whatever you're walking towards, moving towards, putting one foot in front of the other, that door is not meant to slam on your face. You are meant to walk through this. You are meant to overcome this initiation process. It won't always feel this difficult. This is not the time when you falter. This is not the time that you will lose everything. You're not meant to repeat this cycle and go through this over and over and over again. And you are going to walk through this threshold and experience change. And I'm really, really excited to see what that brings into your life. Okay, this was a lengthy reading. I'm sorry that I was a little all over the place. This took a lot out of me energetically. I felt like there was a lot of action, a lot of energy activity going on in my body, and I think that might have been true for you. And like through the full moon, you were like blah blah blah, putting all this out. I'm like doing things, I'm taking action, and blah blah blah. And then like this full moon portal closed, and you're like, holy fuck, I'm tired. Like, whoa, I am exhausted with myself. But like, you are making strides. Even if it doesn't feel like it, or it hasn't showed up in the physical just yet, trust in the lag effect, okay? Trust in the energies of the universe, okay? Things don't show up necessarily instant manifestation. They can. But remember that there is a delay sometimes in the energies that are shifting. You had to shift your vibration. You had to shift your way of thinking. You had to shift the way that you showed up. You had to make a shift in your own internal experience. And now the universe is responding. Give it some grace. You know what that's like. You know when you need a little bit of time to make those changes to match the vibrational frequency of what is required and expected of you. And that was what you did. And now, when you pray, you recognize, okay, I did my part. I am the person who can contain this. I am the person who is worthy of up-leveling and having more value in my life. I am ready to receive this. Now let the universe do its work. Okay, my loves? So I am sending you all my lovin'. And I will talk to you very soon.